So sorry, everybody. I'm hoping people can hear me a little bit better now. Let's see, can people hear me better? Having microphone issues here on this end with this new system. Can you hear me now, Unschooly? Can anybody hear me, or am I just talking to myself? It's hard to tell. Can anyone hear me? Al Hanuf Muhammad, can you hear me now? Can everybody hear me? Excellent. People can hear me. How's everybody doing? And I'm glad everybody found me on the new connection. Is the volume loud enough, though? Can you tell me? Can you tell me, somebody say yes right now if the volume is loud enough? Okay, it's good. Okay, good. You see, YouTube has changed their interface, and I don't have any way of going in and checking my volume levels now. It's like it's kind of confusing. So I do apologize to everybody. I was trying to use another microphone, but it didn't want to work. Okay, so I'm glad everybody can hear me now. Well, welcome. Thanks everybody for coming. We're going to do some astrology question and answers, and here in just a minute. Before we get into that, I do have an announcement that I want to give to everybody. But one thing I wanted to say to people is the purpose of me coming here is to answer questions you may have about astrology. I'm not here to do readings for you because really I need to see your chart in order to do that, because just looking at a few planetary placements in your horoscope is not going to provide the same level of accuracy as you're probably going to desire. Okay. Well, thank you, Daphne, for sending love and peace to you from you in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, so here's the special announcement that I have for everybody, right? I have added 5, count them, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consultations to my astrological services page. These are limited time only consultations. And those of you who are just joining, yeah, I know it's going to get annoying because I'll probably repeat that. But what we have on offer for you, because this is something I get asked a lot, is a chosen vocation consultation. What this consultation does is it helps you to understand what you should do for a living, okay? That consultation is a half hour and it's $60. Okay, so it's only $60 if you want to schedule that consultation. I also have another limited time career consultation that I've added. And that particular consultation is, should I take a job or should I be self-employed? And that consultation is also $60. Okay, and then there are another 3 to go. Okay, so in addition to that, there is a special D9 Navamsha reading that I'm offering to people, which is a half-hour consultation. Because it requires a little more research, that consultation is $95. That helps us to see your potential for commitment in relationship, as well as your capacity to have a very meaningful life. Okay, in addition to that, there is the D10 Dashamsha reading, which most people think that the Dashamsha is just about career, but it's just about success in general, being able to live a successful life. But obviously, leading a successful life also entails the concept of having a successful career. So that will be part of it as well. And that is, again, another $95 reading. Now, for an hour reading, and this is also a limited time offer, I'm doing past life readings using astrology. So you can understand your past life energies, the past life tonalities, and understand what brought you from that moment in the past to the present moment. That consultation is $149. Now, here's the icing on the cake, really. If you schedule any of those, or even if you schedule one of my other astrological services, you get a free, yes, I said free, 3-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology, where you can take all the courses that you want. Now, these courses are still in development, so there's not like, tons and tons of classes there. I'm working to get new classes up as much as possible. There's at least one class on all of the courses. Probably by the end of next week, there will be 2 on all of the courses. and I'm just kind of going through adding them as I can. But if you schedule a consultation, you get 3 months membership there for free, absolutely free. You can take as many classes as you like. So how do you find out the information about that? I forgot to type this aside so I could copy and paste. That is going to be at my astrological services page, which I'm presently typing in the chat window, but I'm trying to multitask at the same time. So please do pardon me because I just forgot to do this before we came in here. So I'm going to go quiet for just 1 second while I type this, and then I'm going to copy all of that. Control C, I'm going to bring up a text document, Control V, so that that makes it a little easier. So if you schedule any consultation, you can schedule the chosen career or chosen vocation consultation, which is $60, or you can schedule the business or entrepreneurship consultation, which is $60, or the D9 or the D10 reading, which is $95, or the karmic analysis reading, which is $149, or any consultation on my website will give you that free membership to the Vedic Astrology Academy. Okay, and I'll mention that again here in a moment. Let's see if anybody has any questions whatsoever about astrology, because, hey, that's one of the reasons that we're here. Okay, nobody has posted a question yet. Let's see if people have any questions. I'm waiting for you. Okay. So please let me know. I'm going to just kind of, do a little song and dance while I'm kind of waiting for you. So if you don't like my dance moves, tough. But you can also post a question in the chat window and I'll stop doing my dance moves, right? What ayanamsha do I use? Okay, well, let's talk about one thing first. Just because I talk about an ayanamsha that I use, it doesn't mean that you should use the same ayanamsha. It doesn't mean that every astrologer in the world should use the same ayanamsha that I use, because really different people use different techniques when it comes to astrology, right? So one person's techniques, they're going to find a certain ayanamsha works better for them. They just gravitate to that. Another person's, they may find another works better for them. I use something called Dhruva Galactic Center Middle of Mula because I just generally find it works best for me. That's not me saying everybody in the entire world has to use it though. Okay. Is there a way to do a nakshatra natal chart? You mean to do an entire reading from the nakshatras? I think that might be what you mean. If you mean something different, you can ask me and I will tell you. But if not, I'm just going to kind of go on from that. You can just using Tarabala. There are other techniques like Savartabhadra chakra that you can use. So many things that you can do, but it's also good to use rashis and things like that. It'll give you something that's a lot more complete. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Let's answer that question. Somebody's saying that they got to know recently that planets are not debilitated through whole sign. Like Venus is not debilitated in Virgo. It's only debilitated in Chitra. No, that's not the case. There are degrees of deep debilitation for planets, right? But just because there are degrees of deep debilitation, it doesn't really hold that planets are not debilitated throughout the whole sign. Okay, now that is the case with the moon though, because with the moon, what you end up finding is the moon is only debilitated. Oops, sorry for the background noise. The moon is only debilitated through 0 to 3 degrees of Scorpio. Sorry, I'm just trying to post that we're here on my Facebook page because it got a bit quiet. And then I'll come back to people's questions in like 2 seconds. Okay. Take me 2 seconds here. There we go. Great. Thanks for your patience. Let's see some other questions here. Is the study of the D1 enough to determine the life of the person? Let's talk about what the D1 is, okay? Because that's where I think people get confused. Because the D1 really is about the life path of the individual, okay? The Varga charts are all the various areas of life that the person is going through experiences in. So, for instance, you can feel that your relationship is not going that well, okay? But overall, because your relationship isn't going well in your life, you feel like, well, that's not really impacting my life in a major way. I can kind of handle it. That's the second one, is the D1 and how that relates to it. The more difficult side of it that one was talking about just a moment ago, that's the particular Varga chart, like the D9 or the D7, dependent upon the source of the type of issue that one is having. So you can look at the D1 and you can determine some, pretty interesting things of the person and understand overall kind of what they're going through. But in order to really get into the details, you need to go into the Varga charts. Okay. Please feel free to ask any more questions that you might have astrologically. Hey, that's what I'm here for after all. So, sorry, I don't mean to seem very distracted. It's just that because we came in here, I lost the last link for people, and I want to make sure that more people can find us here. Okay, so bear with me, everybody, please. I do apologize. Okay, I've updated that, and I think that we're good to go now. Okay, let's see any other questions people might have. Okay, what is an ascendant actually? I mean, what does it signify in real life? Some say it's anchor of a lifespan. Some say it's discretion. The ascendant indicates a lot of things. The ascendant indicates an individual's perspective on life because it represents the head, right? So the ascendant, here's a good way to understand it, right? The ascendant is obviously the Rashi that's on the eastern horizon at the time the person's born. Okay, so here's that eastern horizon. The descendant, or the seventh house, is what's on the western horizon at the time that they're born. And that's why with the individual and relationships, the individual is always trying to find a connection to the relationship. It's like the seventh house, these are both horizons, and this is the initial perspective on the horizon and the space on the horizon that we're going to. Right? That's probably the clearest way to understand it. The ascendant relates to a lot of different things astrologically. So again, just a quick reminder that there are 5 new consultations that are presently on offer for you as individuals. These are limited time consultations, right? There is, just to run through the list, and I'll do it a little more quickly this time, there is the chosen career consultation, which is a half hour for $60. There is, should I go into business or just take a job consultation? That one is also a half hour for $60. There's the reading of the D9, the Navamsha chart, another half hour consultation, which is $95. There's the reading of the D10, Dashamsha chart for success, which is another half hour consultation for $95. And there's the past life reading, which is $149 for an hour reading. All of those consultations plus all of my other consultations, if you schedule before 11 p.m. London time today, you get a free 3-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology, where you can take all of my classes that are there, all of the courses. There's presently the Fundamentals course, the Varga course, Jaimini Level 1 course, Concrete Prediction Level 1 course. I'm working on putting up my Nakshatra Secrets course. So there's a lot that's going to be up there. And sure, over 3 months, you may kind of make it through all the classes that are there, but you'll still get like a good bargain. This is really like $105 value that you get for just scheduling a consultation. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, just reading somebody else's. I'm not here to do free consultations, just so people understand that, okay? But I am offering a range of consultations for a limited time offer that are probably a little more within, that are within people's budgets, right? Like there's the D10 consultation, things like that, because you're asking a career question, right? So if you want to do that, you can schedule that consultation. The D10 consultation is $95. Plus you get a free 3-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy. Please ask some more questions here too, okay? I've got maybe another half hour. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some things that are going on in my universe until people ask some questions. So if you get annoyed with the sales pitch, ask some questions. Okay. So, in addition to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology, I have some new webinar courses coming up next year where you can participate person to person with me in a class setting for Jaimini Level 2, Nakshatra Techniques course, and Concrete Prediction Level 3. Those all start next year, but you can register as early as you like. Okay. I'm not going into the Varshapal question because I don't really do a lot of work with Varshapal, which doesn't mean that I can't answer your question. So maybe I'll answer it, quickly. I think that, you use divisional charts that are calculated in a certain way through the software, dependent upon the software that you use in order to do Varshapal. Okay. But I find myself that I can find pretty much the same predictive things just using the person's natal chart. So I very seldom have any need for Varshapal. Okay. All right. Let's see what everybody else may have as a question here. And please feel free to keep the questions coming, those of you who are here. Okay. I got another half hour. While I'm waiting for the next question, I'm going to take an orange juice break. Pay no attention to the vodka that's in it. No, I'm only kidding. All right. What do I make of the coming Pluto and Saturn conjunction of 2020? Well, let's say this, serious business. But if you're asking what I make of it on the world scale, I don't really do a lot of mundane astrology because I'm of the mindset that you can really do a lot of great change in the world if you focus on the individuals that are in that world. Okay. In addition to that, it's not that I don't feel that the outer planets are not important, because I do, but I tend to find all the same things through Rahu and Ketu that I find through Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune. So I don't usually go into them quite as deeply anymore. But it can be a challenge in what area of your chart that you have that going on in, but a challenge that you're made for and you're meant to overcome, right? But it can test you. It can test you. What books do I recommend for self-study of astrology for a beginner? I recommend The Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology, because that will probably give you more than any book can, because you can't ask a book a question. Okay, that's the reason. Okay. All right, 25th December has many planets in one sign. What should we be looking for? There are quite a lot of times over the course of the year where there are many planets in one sign, and I know what you're talking about, and everybody's making a big deal out of it. But that happens quite often. It just means that we're meant to take a serious look at that particular area of our horoscope during that particular time, because there's a lot that's going on in that house, but it doesn't need to necessarily be a cause for alarm, because your response to whatever it is that's going on is going to be related to what dashas you're going through. And if you're going through a strong dasha, it may not be quite as challenging to you. So I think that, I think people sometimes make something big out of something that's not quite so big. Okay. So just a reminder, 5 new limited time consultations. These are 2 consultations that are $60 a piece, which are the Chosen Vocation consultation, half hour in length. Should I go into business or just take a job? That is another $60 consultation, half hour. 2 half-hour consultations for $95 with each, which are the D9 Navamsha reading and the D10 Dashamsha reading, and the past life reading, which is $149 because it's a little more research intensive and it's going to take us about an hour. These are only available for a limited time, and then I'm going to stop accepting bookings for them. And in addition to that, if you book one of those consultations or any of my other consultations today, you get a free 3-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology, where you can take all of the courses. And I really mean that, just so you know, because if you do it, you'll get kind of what's the best phrase to say? You'll get in on the ground floor and stand a chance to be one of the first people to graduate from it, because these are certification courses. All right. Can I write the site? Because the link doesn't open. Okay. If you go to Pulse of the Universe, I may have misspelled it, .com, you can find the astrological services page link, but here is the full link to the astrological services page. I do apologize, maybe I typed it in wrong before. Here, I'll try to copy it and paste it, because that'll save us all time. And in the meantime, if anybody has another question, yeah, I don't know why that's not opening for you. It should open for you, and it's spelled correct. Oh, I left a W out. Here we go. Right. Here's the proper link, and this one will work. Prasad's in the house. What up? Good to see you here. All right, good. That link should work, everybody. All right, and that'll take you to the page. Lately, there has been a lot of talk about astrocartography. Astrocartography means many different things to many people. Okay, some people refer to it as moving your ascendant based upon where you move to. I find that's not as accurate a technique as some other techniques. To some people, they mean software that shows you where on the planet you should go. I find relocation astrology does work, but I use a technique that's called declination of the planets, where basically you take the declination of the planets and you convert it into a particular degree, and then you find, pardon me for getting longitude and latitude confused, whatever goes north-south on the planet, you find a longitude or latitude, either north or south, that matches up to a common multiple of all of your planets. And that's going to be a way that you can harmonize all of your planets as closely as possible. Okay. That's my take on astrocartography, and that's the best way to do relocation software. Duh, that's not what I meant. Relocation astrology that I have ever found. Okay. So any other questions, please feel free to ask. And again, 5 new consultations, limited time only, chosen vocation consultation. Find out what you should do for a living. Should you go into business or become self-employed? Those are $60 a piece. The other consultations, the D9 and D10 reading, those are $95 each. And the past life reading, which is an hour. All of that and all of my other consultations, if you schedule today before 11 p.m. London time, it gets you a free 3-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology. All right, I can take some more questions. We got another half hour, so feel free to, can I speak? Can I am speaking, or do you mean like this? Woof, woof, woof. Are you gonna ask me to roll over next? I won't make you sit through that, okay? But I am speaking. Okay, maybe you meant something else, TBE. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to. All right. But feel free to type in whatever your question was, if that wasn't your actual question, which I doubt that was your actual question, right? Okay. So does anybody else have a question that they want to put in the chat window about astrology? Not necessarily about your own horoscope, though, okay? Sorry, haha. Okay, well, I don't know what you meant. I'm sure you'll type it. I'll give you time to type it. If anybody else has a question, please also feel free to type it as well. Can I speak about Uttada Ashada Nakshatra? Okay, that makes a little more sense than can I speak, right? All right, well, Uttada Ashada Nakshatra. Let's talk about nakshatras in general, first of all, because we become, as humans, dependent upon our approach to astrology, so externally focused on astrology, like, what is the universe going to give me? Is the universe going to give me a lot of money? Is the universe going to give me a relationship? Is the universe going to give me this? And we can live externally our whole life, but we can never find happiness unless we find it in here first. Okay, so what the nakshatras are really, really, really about. So let's kind of qualify that statement before we get into Uttada Ashada Nakshatra, right? So first of all, before we say what the nakshatras are really, really, really about, those external things that happen are a manifestation of the internal process of the nakshatra, bringing a lesson into your life so that you can grow from that experience. Okay, so nakshatras are really there to grow our consciousness in certain energetic manners along the lines of the nakshatra. All right. So generally with Uttada Ashada Nakshatra, there can be a tendency to be determined, dependent on the well-being of the sun. Sometimes the person can be overly determined, right? Overly driven. And that sense of being overly driven will sometimes occasionally make the person come up against resistance. When they come up against that resistance, it widens their scope of vision and causes them to have a more universalized experience of what's going on, which they can then take in, convert into awareness, and reapproach the situation with a different dynamic. Because one of the lessons with Uttada Ashada Nakshatra is the ultimate victory goes to God. Okay? The ultimate victory goes to God, goes to all of the gods. And if you kind of recognize that, then you're going to have success, only maybe not in the manner that you're seeking it. Right? That's what Uttada Ashada Nakshatra is all about. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? And if you want to learn a little bit more about the nakshatras are going to be one of the courses that are on the Pulse of the Universe Academy. As a matter of fact, I'm working on the first lesson of that class, which I should have up within the next day or so. And again, bum, 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 you get a free 3-month membership to the Pulse of the Universe Academy if you schedule any one of my new consultations or any consultation at all through my services page, right? Which is at this link, which I'm typing into the window now. And those new consultations are the chosen vocation consultation, half hour for $60. The should I go into business or become self-employed? Again, a half hour for $60. Should I also have the D9 and the D10 reading, 2 individual readings. Those are $95 because they're a little more intensive in research, but they're also a half hour to learn, like if you can be committed in relationships, and equally to find out like how meaningful your life can be, and with the D10 to find out how successful you can be in anything and everything, but also with career as well. And the past life reading, which gives you your past life tonalities and helps you to understand how you got from point A to point craziness right now. Okay. And those are the new consultations available for a limited time only. And then I'm going to stop taking bookings for those. But any of my consultations will get you a free 3-month membership. Okay. And thanks for sharing your knowledge, Prasad, as well. T. Garnett. Hello. Hello. You can please feel free to ask any questions, any and all questions anybody may have. Please feel free to type into the chat window. Okay. But I'm not going to keep saying hello. So hello again. Right. All right. Does anybody have another question about astrology? Anything that they're wanting to talk about? A question about a nakshatra in general, right? Nakshatras are interesting because, there's very little that's really written about them in a lot of the older texts. And so a lot of people are apprehensive with working with them because there's not a lot of techniques for them that are shared broadly. So they're very, very important, though. They give a lot of the subtleties of the situation and can equally help you to understand more deeply what lesson it is the universe is asking you to learn from that particular experience, right? So please feel free to share any and all of your questions in the link below. Not in the link below, in the comment section below. Okay. And I will stand by and wait for your next question because there's a lot of people here and you're all being quiet and I can just blab on endlessly. You're a Capricorn. Is Saturn direct? Saturn's direct regardless of whether you're a Capricorn and regardless of whether you're a Sagittarius, because those things aren't dependent upon Saturn being direct isn't dependent upon your sign. Is that what you meant? Or did you mean is Saturn direct in Capricorn? If you use a tropical zodiac, yes. If you use a sidereal zodiac, it's direct in Sagittarius. General meaning of Ketu in Chitra Nakshatra. Okay. The person may have a predisposition to being dissatisfied with life or disenchanted with life in general. Chitra Nakshatra tends to cause us to feel that we're being pulled in a certain direction in our life, only to go through certain experiences and oftentimes find that that direction that we felt was driven by our ethics and driven by our beliefs is altering our ethics and altering our beliefs, with the exception of a few key ones, which are those things that stay with us for a lifetime. But one of the experiences with Ketu and Chitra Nakshatra is the individual will likely find themselves repetitively going through an experience of going, I seem to be following what seems to be my recognition of what truth is, but everything seems to somehow be going wrong. And so K2 in Chitra is asking you to let go of your predisposition of what, truth is, in order to welcome in a deeper understanding of the totality of truth, which is not limited by the limited individual's perspective. Because only until you do that will you be able to find the liberation that can be brought through Rahu in Revati. And so with the Ketu Chitra Rahu Revati axis, there can be a tendency to feel like, I think I'm doing the right thing, but everything still seems to be going wrong. And I feel like things are always in a state of limbo. And when am I going to get out of all this? That's kind of a good understanding if I had to put it all together in a very general sense of what Ketu in Chitra and Rahu in Revati is all about. Gemtastic Spirit is asking, what type of techniques will your courses focus on first? There are several different courses. Let me try to explain those to you. The fundamentals course is starting with astrology from the ground up, helping you to understand how astrology works, like why the Rashis do what they do, pardon me, why the planets do what they do, why the nakshatras do what they do, understanding each component of astrology, then learning the planets, right? And after really learning the planets well, then learning the Rashis. And after really learning the Rashis well, then really learning the houses and things along those lines. And then also doing the same with the nakshatras in association with it. That's just the fundamentals course. And that course is just now being built, okay? But there are several other courses at the Pulse of the Universe Academy. And those are old webinar courses, which I'm presently going through and editing. To add them as quickly as possible. If I had some help video editing, it would probably go a lot more quickly because I have to develop the lessons, I have to post the videos, I have to do consultations. I'm a dad. In addition to that, I have 4 webinar courses that I teach on weekends, so I try to do it as quickly as I can. But there's a course on concrete prediction to teach you how to use Vimshotri Dasha, plus something called Mutual Agenda to predict concrete events. There's a Jaimini Level 1 course to teach you a lot of things as per Jaimini, such as how to determine a person's career. There's a full-length course, which I've only got the first lesson of up yet so far, but will, over the course of the year, the full thing will be up on the Vargas. So basically, I have like 200 to 300 hours of course material that I'm gradually going through and editing and putting up there available as a monthly membership. But if you purchase a consultation today, you get 3 months free there to watch as much as you like of all the different courses. So you can choose what it is you want to learn from. Okay, and those are available for scheduling or that 3-month membership is available for scheduling any consultation on my site at the link I'm going to type into the window now. But I especially have some new consultations based on things that people ask me all the time, such as, what should I do for a living? That's a half-hour consultation for $60 for a limited time. Should I go into business or just take a job? That's another half-hour consultation for just $60. How do you read the Navamsha chart? Well, I'll read your Navamsha chart for you. That's $95 for a half hour. How does my D10 look? That's another half-hour reading for $95. And I would like to know about my past lives. That's the past life consultation, which is $149 for an hour. But I also have a lot of other consultations there, but scheduling any of those gives you a free 3-month membership. Okay. Let's see what other questions we've got here. Can you talk about having moon conjunct the ascendant and the edge it can give a person in astrology? I have found people with the moon born on the ascendant are really excellent at working with nakshatras. You should gravitate towards nakshatras because you will pick them up lickety split, right? Because you're very lunar focused. So that's an important thing to understand. You'd probably gravitate towards the nakshatras more than anything else. Okay. Meaning of the ascendant in Purva Ashada Nakshatra. Okay. Purva Ashada Nakshatra depends on Venus. Let's say that, right? If you've got a strong Venus, you're going to want to be honest about all things, sometimes brutally honest, because you believe, why bother? Why bother being anything else except brutally honest? Because then we can just kind of get all the SH1T out of the way pretty soon, right? Because why just go through all the stuff if you can cut straight to the chase, right? But if there's a difficult Venus in the horoscope, the person often finds himself in a position where they feel like they have to pretend in life, but they don't like pretending, right? And so eventually something will come into their life and make them go, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I just got to be real. And the moment that they're real, that's when they get energized and things begin to move forward for them in a much more powerful perspective. Okay. If you, number 37, which I'm sure is a person too. It feels odd calling you a number, right? Number 37, there's a lot on how to work with house cusps in one of my courses on the Vedic Astrology Academy, which again, if you schedule a consultation today before 11 p.m., you get 3 months access there to watch as much as you like, okay? I probably couldn't do one video about how to work with the cusp because it would take a lot to do so. All right, let's see any other questions people may have. We got another 10 to 15 minutes to talk here. Okay. And what about, is the moon is dark or a new moon in Cancer? Do you still recommend learning the nakshatras? A dark moon doesn't necessarily mean that a person can't learn the nakshatras well, especially if it's on the ascendant. I have a dark moon on the ascendant, and seems to have done okay for me, I think. All right. How am I affected by Pisces moon, Libra rising, Capricorn sun? It sounds to me, T. Garnett, like you're asking an interpretative question based on your interactions with other people, which are all going to be affected by the planetary period that you're going through, as well as transits that are going on. So I couldn't really give you clear information in your chart just by knowing you're a Pisces moon, if you know what I mean. Okay. All right. But you'd likely find, that an aspect or one part of somebody who's a Libra rising may be somewhat grating to you, and you may not even be asking this at all. Okay. And you can also perhaps find some people with Sun in Capricorn to be a little bit boosting to your, what's the phrase I'm wanting to use, to your ambition. But those are just simple interpretations, and it's all going to be determined by the rest of your horoscope, right? So we'll go into Dhanishta Nakshatra here in a moment. Just a reminder, I know we keep saying it over and over again, but that's because people keep popping in, right? So until 11 p.m. tonight, if you schedule any consultation from my services page, you get a free 3-month membership, which is a $105 value to the Pulse of the Universe Academy of Vedic Astrology. Why am I doing that? Because I'm only kidding. I'm doing it because, I really want people to partake there. But equally, I just feel it's a good offer and a good thank you to you for watching all these videos, because you could choose to do something else, really, but you're here, and that's really wonderful. But there are also some new consultations that I'm offering, which are the Chosen Vocation consultation, which is a half hour for $60. The Shall I Take a Job or Be an Entrepreneur consultation, which is a half hour for $60. Would You Read My Navamsha consultation, which is a half hour for $95 because it's more intensive. And Can You Look at My Dashamsha consultation, which is a half hour for $95 because it's more intensive. and the past life reading consultation, which is $149 for an hour. But I have lots of other consultations as well if those don't suit you. And those can all be scheduled at the link that I'm typing in the window now. And if you schedule that before 11 p.m. tonight only, right, you'll get a free 3-month membership to the Academy. All right, somebody was asking about the moon in Dhanishta Nakshatra. All right, well, weak Mars somewhere in the chart can make it so that the person faces challenges simply when they're trying to be themselves. Okay, and because they face those challenges, they want to be validated for simply being who they are. They want people to be okay with them being who they are. If there's a strong Mars in the chart, the person's very authentic, perhaps a little bit quirky. They march to the beat of their own drum. They just generally let spirit flow through them pretty naturally because they see themselves as an instrument between the divine and expression in life. Okay. What exactly about Anuradha Nakshatra causes it to relate to foreign lands? I don't always find that it does relate to foreign lands, but here is why people might be making that interpretation. Because with Anuradha Nakshatra, one of the lessons in it is about right relationship, okay? And believe it or not, and this is a little known fact, the 7th house is an indication of foreign countries because if the ascendant is you, the 7th house is that elusive horizon that's always escaping you. And